Okay, here we go. Just as we decided as a class, we're gonna take a look at the hardest problem that you're gonna be, one of the hardest problems that you're gonna be expected to do in this unit. Okay, and then we're gonna turn around and backtrack to some easier ones as we get there. Okay, so the first thing, I'm just gonna talk you through it, and then after I talk you through it, I'm gonna turn around and we're gonna write the steps that we did. Okay, as a class to get there. Okay, so what? Because the recording really liked that. Anyway, so here we go. The first thing that we're going to do, that I want you to do, is the fractions make this ugly, and it could make it really difficult. So let's work through and get rid of the fractions. Okay, and the way we can get rid of the fractions right away is then multiply through by the least common denominator of all the fractions in the equation. What's the least common denominator between 2 and 6, or 2 and 3? 6. I just said it. That's funny. So we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by the least common denominator, or 6. Okay. And then when we do that, we actually need to distribute that 6 to all the different parts. So we're going to do 6 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. And then this one, we're going to do 6 times this group of multiplying things. So essentially what we do, I'm going to write it off to the side. So we're going to do 6 times 5 times x minus 3. And you'll notice that if you take a look at it, it's really, we just want to do 6 times 5. That's all. We don't want to like distribute it inside the parentheses. Okay, we just want to do it 6 times 5. So now we'll get and then we'll just do the x minus 3 equals, and then we're going to distribute the 6. We're going to continue to distribute the 6 on it. Okay, 1/2 times 6. So maybe we write, or no, let's try to do this without a calculator. Okay, 1/2 times 6. 1/2 times 6, we can cross cancel. 2 divided by 2 is 1, 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay, so we get 3 there. Oops, I should write that in red. Okay, and then we do 6, and we're going to think 5/3 times 6. Okay, again, we can cross cancel. 3 divided by 3 is 1, 6 divided by 3 is 2, and then you're left with 5 times the 2. 5 times the 2 is 10. Okay, and now let's take a look. Can somebody guess what to do? If you've done it before, that's awesome. Take a good guess. Somebody take a good guess as to what to do. Okay, so we decided that we were going to distribute here. So we're going to just distribute. 18. We won't do the 18 minus 30 first because that's subtraction. We want to do the multiplication first. So it's minus 30x plus 20 equals 30 plus 10x. Okay, now we're going to combine like terms. Now we're going to turn around and combine like terms. Okay, we can only combine like terms on one side of the equal sign. Okay, you cannot combine like terms across the equal sign. There's like a border. You have to do special stuff to get things on opposite. Okay, so it's positive 90 because the negative times the negative becomes a positive. Now we're going to combine like terms. 18 plus 90 is going to be what? 1 equals 3 plus 10. And then, now this is the new stuff. This is totally new right now. It's totally new. We have x's on different sides of the equal sign. Do you remember? Does anybody remember what to do here if you had done this in the past? Okay, so the goal was, what we just talked about is the goal is to get the variables onto the same side of the equal sign. That's what we're trying to do right now. And the recommendation was to add 30 on 30x on both sides of the equal sign. And that's what we're actually going to do. Why? Because our goal, we want to focus on our goal because so our goal is to take the negative, that x, and we're going to move it to the right. Okay, that's kind of what we're doing. We could move them to the left, but this one in particular, we're just having fun moving to the right. Anyway, so we're going to add 30x. Okay, add 30x. It doesn't have an x, and we can't combine these over there. But essentially what we're doing is to move the negative 30x, we're going to add 30x to both sides. That's because that makes 0. Negative 30x plus 30x is 0, so that's gone. That's gone. Then we get 1. Then we get 1 equals 3 plus 40x. Okay, 3 plus 40x. And we're going to, now it turns into a problem like we've done before. Okay, we're going to turn around minus 3. Minus 3. 105 equals 40x. Okay, and if you take x by itself, you divide by 40. So then we're left with x equals 105 over 40. But that's not our final answer because we can actually reduce that. We can divide both by 5, right? 105 divided by 5 is 21. What's 40 divided by 5? 8. And that we get stuck there. Okay? Let's go to something a little easier. That's about the max of what we're going to do with these solving equations for us, okay? Okay? So you know where the goal is. And if you're like, that wasn't too bad, okay, we can handle this. Let's first write down our steps. Number one was we multiplied by LCD to remove fractions. Then 2 was we distributed. We distributed. 3, we combined like terms. 4, we collected, just like we had said, collect variables on one side of the equal sign. And then the 5th was we solved. We finished solving. Okay, so there's the step. Now what I want you to do after you write that down, go ahead and get to work on example 2 and example 3. Go. Okay, so we don't need to get rid of fractions because there are no fractions. And we don't need to distribute because there is no distributing. And we don't need to combine like terms on either side of the equal sign because there is none. But what we do need is we need to move the variables over. Okay, we can move them to the right or to the left. We did the last one to the right, so I'm going to have to continue on moving them to the right. Doesn't matter. So I'm going to minus 4n both sides, and then I get -8. I'm going to write this step down equals -n plus 2. And then I'm going to crank out the next one. Now I'm going to move the numbers to the other side. We're going to keep solving from here. Numbers to the other side. And then we get -10 equals -n, but that's not what n equals. That's what -n equals. So we're going to divide by -1. And we get n is 10. What? Good job. So rock the next one. I'll walk you through the next one, example 3. So we're going to move. You guys like moving, we started moving the variables to the right. So we're going to do that. So we're going to minus 4k. And then we're going to, so that makes 0 over there. And we get 8 equals -10 minus 3k. Right? Then we're going to add 10 to both sides. And we're left with 18 equals -3k. And divide by -3. -6 equals k. Okay. And then on the very last one that I kind of snuck in there, we're going to multiply through by the least common denominator. Okay, what's the least common denominator? It's actually 24. If you guys are having issues finding that, you can factor 8 and say that it's like 2 times 2 times 2. And then you can factor 6 and say 6 is 2 times 3. So I'm going to line the 2's up there and I'm going to put the 3 down here. And then I can just read it straight down. 2, 2, 2, 3, which 2 times 2 times 2 is 8 times 3 is 24. So it's 24. You can do it for all of them. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That makes sense. That's a good way to do it. Anyways, so multiply through by the common denominator to get rid of the fractions. So that times that would be 24 over 8 is 3, so we left with 3 times 3, which is 9. 24 times 8 is 104. What? What is it? 24 times 8? 182. 92? Okay. Going to do it off to the side just to make sure. So that times that would be 4. 24 times 2 would be 48. Right? Keep going. We can move them to the right if you want. Move those to the left. What's 92 minus 48? 192 minus 48, 44. And then divide by -5. And you're left with -44 over 5. By the way, we do have a worksheet for our homework tonight. I do have it.